今日個活動。咁我諗咗好耐，今日第一句講咩？其實我今日想第一句講係對唔住，係啦，都差唔多都係一樣㗎啦，因為遲咗啦，好多嘢慢咗啦，諸如此類啦嚇。咁我哋因為籌辦大家都係義工，咁有時候都甩甩漏漏諸如此類，咁啊希望大家見諒，唔好意思啲嘢。咁活動就今年其實去到實體去到第4次啦，已經係網上我哋辦咗1年，咁樣其實第5次DevFest啦已經係。咁跟住係啦，咁我唔想介紹太多咩 Google Developer Group 啲嘢，大家可以睇翻我啲嘢就算數。咁但係我只係想同大家講下咧，就因為我想叫晒啲我啲 organizer 嚟，但係因為我見到佢哋好忙，咁我只係同大家講就係 DevFest 成功與否唔係淨得我一個人，我後邊仲有好多朋友仔幫緊我嘅，係啦。咁我哋呢度都有阿 Rick 啊、Martin 啊，可能阿 Connie 啊，其實仲有其他人喺度幫緊手 ，Alex 啊咁嗰啲。咁唔好淨係記得我一個啊，因為我一個係做唔到咁多樣嘢㗎，係啦，係其實好多人幫手先可以有咁嘅活動咁樣出咗嚟，所以就係啦，希望大家 enjoy 今日啦。咁就如果你哋留意啲 social post 咧，咁就我哋都幾多禮物送㗎，其實都算係啦。community 嚟講又唔使錢，都算係咁㗎啦。咁希望你哋 enjoy 今日，好唔好？咁我就乜嘢？電熱器嗰啲，咁我就唔阻住大家時間啦。咁我就落嚟，我俾咗阿 Ben 先 hold，陣間先再講好唔好 ？OK， 好啦 ，OK， 因為讀開咗，好唔好？咁我哋先請阿 Ben 過嚟先。係啦，阿 Ben 好難請㗎，因為係啦，你睇圖我都覺得幾大㗎嘛。
喂，咁我真係講廣東話定係講英文？
廣東話先啦。
廣東話先啦嚇，咁首先第一好難得我可以講廣東話，咁我叫阿 Ben，咁負責Greater China Google 嘅 marketing 嘅，咁我係呢度 Chief Marketing Officers，咁咧離開咗香港好耐啦，超過20年啦，咁但係我就一路喺其他外邊嘅地方，但係而家都係負責香港嘅，所以我今次琴日喺上海翻嚟，咁我喺度咧，首先想多謝阿 Leo 同埋佢哋個所有 volunteer， 今日可以幫我哋 organize 呢一個，大家俾啲掌聲嘅。咁其實咧DevFest 啦，我係一路可以用廣東話定係咪？我一路可以用廣東話。OK， 咁咧就DevFest 咧係全世界最大。我哋而家 worldwide developers 嘅一個 community 同埋一個活動啦嚇，咁當然我哋有我哋嘅 I/O 一陣我會介紹下，但係咧其實喺 GDG 裏邊咧，成個 community 嘅 activities 咧，我哋係好靠呢一個 DevFest。咁喺香港咧，其實今年2024年咧，總共有超過8600個 developers 咧，已經喺全年including 你哋啦，今日啦，都係同我哋有一個 connection。同埋有我哋嘅一啲 technology 嘅 update 同埋分享。咁睇我個 screen 有冇轉到咧？呢度有轉，但係上面冇轉喎，有啲慢。OK， 有冇睇下可以係點樣咧？轉呢度係咪？哦，呢度。睇下呢個，跟住咧 ，spotlight，OK， 呢個，呢個。跟住變咗係我喎，我就轉翻呢個先啊。OK， 唔好意思啊，跟住我。呢度就有。佢另外一度。
佢應該 suppose 有 companion mode。 應該係。
係咪有啲故障？
先。
我知咩事
OK 好。
等我都嚟嘅啫。
好，唔好意思啊，呢個電腦上嘅 screen 同呢個 project 出嚟唔一樣。
我知啊，等我先。係啊係。
OK。
sorry。
好，所以
係啊。
一啲停咗頭先。
係啊，因為出邊又有啲其他嘢。等陣先 ，sorry 啊。
咁我不如喺呢個整緊嘅時候，我繼續講嘢啦，一陣可以慳翻啲時間嚟，可以去個 content。咁係啦，點樣DevFest 啦，今年已經係10年啦。咁我哋 Google 咧喺香港今年都係20週年，唔知你哋知唔知道？有冇去過我哋 office？如果有機會下次去啦，我哋嘅 Google 今年係20週年啦，我哋 office 裏面都有啲 decoration 可以做下嘅。咁今年咧，我哋20週年其實就一路去幫香港希望做啲嘢。我哋有3個 area 希望可以幫到香港嘅。咁第一個咧就係 economy 啦，第二個咧就係 digital skill upscaling， 第三個就係 ecosystem。咁我啲 slide 裏邊咧，其實就有一啲 information 可以 share 俾大家，究竟我哋點樣去做呢3件事嘅。咁一陣啲 slide 出嚟就可以。咁 OK。Thank you。
該先係啦。
OK，好，我得唔得？係 ，Yep，OK，好，係啦。咁我頭先得唔得 ？Reset。OK。OK，好。咁啊，頭先就講到啦，我哋今年係20週年啦。咁其實我哋不嬲 Google 都係講緊㗎啦，make AI more helpful for everyone。而有一個好緊要嘅 concept， 希望今日我哋講任何AI 或者 cloud related 嘅嘢咧，我哋都係 promote一個 concept 叫 bold and responsible。咁我哋自己就用咗我哋嘅 AI Gemini 嘅 model 啦，喺我哋好多 product 裏邊啦。咁但係我哋其實睇頭先我講，今年咧我哋有3個 commitment， 希望係可以做多啲嘢嘅。咁第一個就係 help 個 local economy。咁喺個 Google 嘅 AI solution 咧，我哋有做 research 咧，就係今年我哋喺2023年啦，我哋大約係 contribute 74個 billion 嘅 contributions 喺個 economic value 裏邊。咁而我哋 forecast 喺2030年咧，應該可以去到287個 billion 嘅 value 啦。咁大部分嘅 contribution 咧，其實係關於我哋點樣去用 Gemini， 尤其是喺 workspace cloud related 嘅 area。咁喺 digital upscaling 上邊咧，咁我哋都做咗好多嘢嘅。咁第一樣嘢咧，我哋有同呢一個 iEnterprise 啦，Hong Kong IIT 合作咧，就用 Gemini Provisions 咧，就 develop 咗一個 AI screen reader。咁第二樣嘢，我哋有個 Gemini Academy， 我唔知道有幾多人係同學術或者high school 有關係啦。我哋而家個 aim 咧就希望係全香港有50% 嘅 K-12 嘅 school 咧係可以有呢一個 educations。有冇人做咗 Google Career Certificate 嘅 ？OK， 我哋今年畢業嘅人咧有80% 話俾我哋知咧，其實對佢嘅 career 咧係有 positive impact 嘅。咁去到個 digital ecosystem 咧，可以講一講我哋嚟緊會有 Octopus 啦 ，integrate 去 Google Wallet 啦。另外咧，我哋其實同2個比較大啲嘅 organisation， 一個係 Cyberport， 另外一個係 Science Park 都有啲合作。喺Cyberport 嗰度咧，其實我哋已經俾咗啲 cloud 嘅 credit 咧去一啲 Cyberport 嘅 startup， 咁係超過咗9.4個 million US 㗎啦。咁我哋另外咧就同 Science Park 準備會launch 一個 AI co-incubation program 添嘅。資料第日我哋會再 share 俾大家。咁至於我哋嘅 team 咧，亦都有同 M-Chain 啦，同埋Hong Kong BU 咧，係有做到一個Smart City Sympathy Theory， 係講一啲我哋點樣 contribute 喺香港嘅只要去到 YouTube 裏邊咧，大家就可以睇得到噶啦。OK， 咁其實我點解今日Leo 會揾我嚟咧？喺前邊香港嘅嘢之外咧，我特登咧 希望係講我落嚟嘅幾個 point 嘅。咁我個團隊咧其實就負責大中華區啦。咁中國係一個好大嘅 developer community，咁而個發展咧亦都係好快嘅。咁我哋咧喺中國咧其實就做咗幾多嘢嘅。咁而我其中一個希望可以做多啲嘅咧，就係香港嘅 developer 咧可以一齊同我哋用到我哋喺全國做嘅一啲發展。呢一個咧 video 唔知係咪因為係冇 access， 唔緊要，我繼續先。咁但係咧，我可以 share 俾大家啦。今年咧，我哋即係2024年啦。其實大家應該有聽過美國嘅 I/O 啦。我哋過去嗰幾年咧，都喺大陸係有做 I/O Connect 嘅。咁I/O Connect 係我團隊負責。咁呢度咧，我哋基本上有成3000人啦。咁亦都超過400萬人去睇到我哋一粒 live stream。咁我哋已經決定咗喺2025年係會有呢樣嘢繼續喺中國發生嘅。咁應該係上海，到時我哋希望邀請大家有機會都可以去參加我哋。咁喺 China GDG 咧，其實我哋嘅發展都唔錯嘅。咁過去嗰幾年咧，基本上每年我哋有超過60萬嘅 developers。香港我頭先講係8600，大約8600啦。咁喺 China 我哋超過30個城市咧，一路有做 GDG 嘅嘢，咁係超過60萬。咁如果大家第日有希望或者 connect 到China 嘅 developers 嘅話咧，其實都可以經過 GDG 咧，我哋可以睇下點樣可以facilitate 呢個 community。咁另外有一樣嘢，頭先我都想講到我哋 bold and responsible 啦。咁其中一個我哋做用我哋嘅 AI 嘅話咧，就係我要 AI for social goods。我唔知呢度有冇 developer 係做一啲嘢咧，係關於可能係minority 啦、disability 啦。咁如果你哋有嘅話咧，我哋都好有興趣合作。我哋其實喺 I/O Connect 裏邊 feature 咗好多呢啲唔同手語或者幫視像嘅一啲developer 幫我哋做嘅 product。咁如果喺香港有任何 developer 係做呢一方面嘅嘢咧，我都好希望可以同我哋 connect 到。OK， 咁至於其實Google 技術嗰度咧，我就唔講 details， 因為應該全日你哋應該都會睇到。咁我哋有幾個 track 啦，有 AI 啦、cloud 啦，咁呢啲 detail 我就唔諗住講嘅。咁最近嘅一個少少 promotion 咧，就係喺深圳1月8號，我哋 Cloud Summit 第一次喺中國做。咁我都係會同阿 Leo 同啲 volunteer 繼續希望可以 recruit 多啲呢度嘅 developer 或者包括你哋啦，可以去到深圳參加我哋呢一個 event， 係我哋嘅第一次喺中國發生嘅。咁我哋個 plan 咧，其實係可以 up to 800人喺嗰度，大家一齊交流同埋俾到 information 嘅。咁希望咧今日你哋可以 enjoy 全個content 可以幫到你哋啦。第二咧就係嚟緊，好似我頭先講啦，希望大家可以leverage 到我哋喺 China 做一啲更加大型對 developer community 嘅 resources 咁希望1月嘅時候見到你哋。咁last but not the least 啦，我都係 reinforce on behalf of Google 咧，就係我哋喺 AI 上面咧，希望係 bold and responsible in terms of bold，就係希望多啲 innovation。咁我自己咧好慶幸我嚟咗 Google 8年我第一個 project 咧叫做 AlphaGo， 有冇聽過 ？OK， 咁咧我真係完全喺8年前，即係過去嗰2年講多啲 AI 啦，但係8年前我做呢個 project 嘅時候，已經係發覺 AI 係一個大家需要 embrace 非常之 powerful 嘅一樣嘢。咁我前2個禮拜去咗新加坡。AlphaGo 我哋 DeepMind 嘅 CEO 你知道係邊個 ？Damus。咁我喺新加坡見到 Damus。因為我哋咧又 sponsor 咗 World Chess Championship， 咁咧就喺新加坡比賽緊嘅，咁而家仲比賽緊嘅，應該係比賽10幾日嘅。 咁就係中國 versus 呢一個印度嘅棋手咁樣咯。咁但係我哋就喺嗰度咧，亦都係有一個展，就係 Gemini for AI 點樣幫 chess 啊。咁我覺得其實要靠好多 developer 啦，用我哋嘅 Gemini 啦，可能會有多啲新嘅 experience 喺唔同嘅方面嚇。咁當然喺捉棋 AlphaGo 呢一方面係啦，但係亦都見到我哋其實已經 shift 咗做 life science 啊。咁所以點解 Dermot 可以攞到呢一個 Nobel Prize 啦嚇 AlphaFold。咁如果香港有更多新嘅諗法，點樣可以係有 innovation 嘅咧？我哋好希望可以 Google 同埋你哋去 feature 呢啲 product， 俾到全世界更多人可以用得到。咁 last but not the least 嗰個 responsible 就我哋講過好多次㗎啦。咁喺行得咁快同埋咁前嘅底下咧，我哋希望可以自己同埋成個 ecosystem 咧都係繼續好負責任地用呢一個 AI。咁希望大家可以同我哋交流多啲咯。多謝大家 ，thank you。
好啦，咁就我哋跟住揾下Howard過嚟，係啦，佢更加熟悉點樣用呢部電腦啦。OK，咁就點樣 share 翻佢出嚟？
定係調轉嘅時候，
要先，佢覺得要選下先。
OK， 好，唔該晒呢度。OK， 大家好，我叫 Howard， 係香港城市大學電腦科學系嘅，咁嗰度教緊啦。咁就今日就同大家 share 下啦，我哋學校都係唔得啦。咁就同大家介紹下我哋 Computer Science 嘅 undergraduate program， 因為我哋都會教育好多下一代咧出嚟做 developer 啊咁樣嘅。咁首先介紹我哋 department 先啦。我哋 department 咧就係有40幾位 professors，OK 咁我哋就係唔同嘅 research area 啦。咁基本上咧，如果大家有睇新聞都知道，我哋城大嘅 ranking 咧其實都喺都好高㗎啦，頭100㗎啦。咁而喺 computer science AI 嘅範疇咧，亦都係見到唔同嘅 ranking 咧，都分別喺 top 50同埋 top 100咁樣嘅。好啦，咁今日主要想講下我哋嘅 program 啦 ，undergraduate program 第一咧就係 BSc in Computer Science 嘅，咁呢個我哋 run 咗好多年嘅啦。咁同埋咧，第二個 program 想介紹咧就係 BSc Cyber Security， 呢個係一個新 program， 出年會開始收生。咁另外其實3同4咧，我哋係一啲 joint program 同第二啲 department 一齊 run 嘅。咁首先講啦，就係我哋個 program highlight， 即係啲 program 咧點解有啲咩好咧？就係話你見到係由 breadth 又 depth 又有好多 staff 啦，同埋其實有呢個 industry experience， 陣間會講噶啦。跟住同埋有好多 activity 俾啲學生嘅。咁咧，我哋嗰個 BSc CS 咧1204啦嗰個咧就係話我哋有5個 study streams 俾學生可以揀嘅，睇下佢有咩興趣係咩啦。咁其中一個 stream 當然係 AI 啦，因為 AI 係咁 hot 嘅話。咁另外一個 relay stream 咧都係 data science 咯。咁亦都有 cyber security multimedia 或者全部啲 software engineering。咁啲學生咧，如果揀呢個 stream， 即係話咧，佢喺嗰個 stream 入邊一啲 courses 咧，就 more focus 喺嗰個 area 嘅。好啦，咁另外頭先提到啦，有一個係第3嗰個啦，就係個 joint bachelor degree、joint degree double degree program 嘅。咁就係首先係我哋個 computer science 啦，另外有個 computational finance and financial technology。咁我哋同 School of Business 合辦嘅，因為我哋 computer science 啦同埋 fintech technology 咧，因為都係好即係呢幾年啦，都好需求啦，好渴求，所以我哋就搞個 double degree program。 好啦，另外啦，頭先提到啦，我哋會下年新開一個 cyber security undergraduate degree 嘅，因為咧其實個需求亦都係啦，我哋同業界傾啦，啲 cyber security 個個都話唔夠 cyber security experts 嘅，咁所以咧個前景係非常好啦。咁所以咧我哋就成立啦，即係而家其實上緊去大學嗰度咧，應該其實都會過㗎啦，咁就下年會開始收生啦。咁就其實係 more focus 嗰啲 fundamental course 係 cyber security 啊 ，internship 係 cyber security 啊 ，project 係 cyber security。咁亦都有好多公司咧，亦都同我哋聯絡，即係會有即係佢哋 endorsement 㗎啦。咁咧其實咧其中一個 feature 啦係我哋 CS department 入邊嘅 undergraduate program 咧，就係有個 professional internship， 以前叫做 placement， 而家就叫做 internship 啦。咁咧學生喺佢哋 ES3 嗰陣時咧，就會起碼有9個月咧，就要去一間公司嗰度咧就做嘢，做 internship 攞啲 experience 嘅。咁而我哋而家個 model 咧就係4日出去翻工，跟住星期5咧就翻嚟 take course 啦。我哋好多 course 要 take 嘅。咁所以咧，其實呢一個係好，我哋揾咗好多年嘅，係全港第一個係搞嘅placement program。咁你見到好多即係呢啲 example 公司啦都有 join 到嘅。咁而咧其實個好處咧就係啲公司覺得，哇！如果即係 train up 一啲好嘅學生啦，即係如果一啲真係好嘅 mark 咗佢，到佢 graduate 嗰陣時咧，就翻嚟佢哋公司做咯。咁所以咧，其實係一個 key features 嘅。咁而internship 咧就唔係免費嘅，即係佢哋都有人工收嘅，亦都可以幫助下佢哋，幫補下佢哋啲學費啊、生活費啊咁啦。另外咧，頭先講到有一啲係活動啦，俾啲學生嘅。咁我哋學校咧，成個 CityU 都 encourage 學生出去做 exchange 嘅，咁所以咧佢哋有唔同嘅 exchange program 啦，學生可以出去有一個 semester 出去一間 U 嗰度咧，就係喺嗰度讀書啊，喺嗰度生活，跟住之後咧讀完之後咧就翻嚟claim learning credit、transfer credit 咁樣啦。另外咧，我哋亦都搞啲短期嘅 study tour 嘅，咁喺呢2年咧，分別去咗新加坡同埋日本咁樣。好啦。跟住仲有好多 activities 喎，咁呢個咧其實就係另外深馬啦，深馬我哋亦都搞，即係其實學校都有好多 activity 啦。呢個其中一個 example 嘅就係去咗呢個Silicon Valley 嘅，咁學生喺1個月裏邊咧就係見下啲公司啊咁樣，跟住咧就係等等嚇，右邊嗰個，左邊嗰個咧就我哋亦都有 visit 到 local 啲 company 啦，迪士尼或者係去深圳一日嘅好短嘅 trip 睇下嗰邊啲 tech companies 都有搞到嘅。係啦，另外我哋有一個 research mentoring scheme 咧，咁咧就係話啲 professor 咧就有好多 project 就俾啲學生揀，咁咧如果啲學生即係佢哋係有興趣 pursue research 嘅話咧，就可以跟個 professor 做 research 啦。咁有啲好嘅學生咧做 research 咧，直情可以 publish 咗啲 paper 嘅。咁你見到呢個係 Triple AI Conference 係一個 top AI conference 嘅。好，跟住咧，我哋其實同業界咧都有一個聯繫啦，因為除咗 internship 之外咧，我哋都會 invite 翻嗰啲 senior managers 啊，我哋啲 alumni 啊翻嚟啦，即係同我哋啲學生喺度傾下偈，咁見佢哋比較 relax environment 啦，但係我哋啲學生 acquire 咗啲 soft skill 同埋佢哋嘅即係出嚟就業嘅前景啦，認識多啲嘅。係啦，咁呢個就係個 orientation 啦，見到我哋係全部老師都出晒嚟啦，見啲新嘅學生，同埋係會驗一啲 senior 嘅學生咧去 mentor 佢哋嘅，做 student mentor 咁樣嘅。咁至於就業方面咧，其實就當然大家都係業界咧，我都唔使多講啦。咁主要就係話喺industry 啦，好多唔同嘅 post 啦，都有同學仔都可以做啦。另外咧，其實如果係同學仔想做 research 做 professor 咧，亦都有第2個 career path 俾佢哋嘅。好啦，咁個salary 又點咧？咁喺我哋 BSc-CS 咧出嚟嘅 graduate 啦，之前做咗一個 survey 嘅，2023年上年做嘅 survey 咧，我哋超過98%嘅學生咧都攞到 full time 嘅 employment 嘅，咁同埋佢哋人工亦都唔差啦嚇，咁係average 咧其實係超過28,000啦，咁超過2成咧其實係有3萬蚊嘅一個月。咁而咧有少部分同學咧，佢哋就唔想出嚟做一住，就想出去讀master 喎。咁咧你見到呢一度咧就一啲 example 啦，咁一啲好嘅學校，咁佢哋係繼續去 pursue 佢哋嘅 studies 嘅。好啦，咁因為其實今日係我簡介，所以講得比較快啦。咁其實我哋同明報呢個大學度講堂咧，亦都每年都有拍咗啲 video 介紹我哋嘅。咁所以如果大家有興趣或者認識啲人咧想讀undergrad，唔知讀乜嘢嘢喎，咁可以去睇一睇我哋啲 video，咁就考慮下我哋 computer science、CityU computer science。咁如果真係要再多啲 information 包一個 specific program 咧，可以去翻我哋個 website 度睇嘅。好啦，咁今日嘅介紹咧就去到呢度先。OK， 多謝大家。
好，
多謝開會，係啊，咁啊，因為今日都要多謝城市大學嘅，因為借咗個場地俾我哋啦，我哋去搞咁活動，好冇？咁啊差唔多啦，啲朋友仔都嚟得，今朝早我諗都七七八八啦，咁我哋嚟一個大合照先，好冇 ？We take a quick photo first，OK？咁就側邊嘅朋友仔可唔可以坐近少少，等中間容影，因為你太側邊咧，我哋影唔到嘅。坐得靠近中間多一點點，好不好？我好像聽到一些講普通話的朋友在哪一邊，然後可以靠中間坐多近一點點，這樣子，對啊。
揀啲你 Q 定我 Q？
你 Q 啊，跟住係啊，你 Q 啊，當然係你 Q。
企喺中間啊，企嘅。
將佢嚟啊！呢嚿嘢，
可能第二行先係你。唔一齊嚟啫，
你係使乜攞嚟？
開燈嘅。
咩啊？上面要開先。
因為次次攞支旗都係發咗咧炒啊，擺板都唔會炒。其實有係股啊。早晨啊！嗱，sorry，所以咧就用 iPhone 啦。手機咁啊啦，
後面啲義工唔使咁怕手喎，一齊坐埋
落嚟啊！
唔係，
我係一定要冇窿嘅張相，其實如果係好肉。
我冇權力啊！
請你坐低，唔該，多謝晒。係，請坐低。
有窿就填窿啦，唔該。
喺邊度啊？喺邊度啊？呢個啦，
好埋位啦
OK，ready？
翻埋位，啱啱嚟嘅朋友埋位，坐落啲，坐落啲。係啊。坐前啲，坐前啲。
有個要，或者要攞住上嚟。
係啦 ，OK。
OK，ready？One, two, three。
One more。
One more，ready？One, two, three。
有大嘅 ，OK。
使唔使講埋啊？Leung生日快樂啊
！Alex。
係啊，好人嗰個係差唔多係。OK。係啦。唔係升翻佢就咩㗎啦，升翻佢就空㗎啦。得，唔緊要，擺邊度都得，升高少少得㗎啦，升高少少，係啦。Thu Ya, is your turn. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Which one?
Yeah. This way.
Oh wait, I can do this. Other part.
Is it?
Yeah.
You have internet?
I have. I don't need internet.
I'm not sure.
Oh, do I need to? Oh,
Yeah.
Wait, let me just. There's CityU, right? Okay.
No.
It's okay. I will just connect here. Yeah, what's the meet? May I know the last NB APS
IMD.
Yes. You send me? Yeah, okay. Do I use no? Yeah, use
You can use this.
yeah. You can just click edit.
Sure. Yeah.
It's from Hello. It should be okay. So sorry about that. Yeah, I don't have time to repeat, so I will just continue from now on. Don't worry, the content itself is not covered yet. This is more like trying to ramp up, right? So we have customization, so you can customize on the product, right? So when I was opening up my own food store before I was doing kind of like technical stuff, it's very hard to come up with a menu, right? You need to hire a photographer, you need to cook very nicely, lay out very nicely, take a photo, put in the menu. But nowadays, you can just generate using AI to do style customization, subject customization, and so on. And some people might say, hey, how about, I want to know this is generated by image or this is generated by model. We also have the watermark as well, okay? So now we live in a new dimension or a new kind of like a era where you can actually create video, not just images, right? So we just announced video on Vertex as well. You can generate like very nice latte art coffee, or you can actually automate, or you can actually animate the image from the still image into like a live image, right? Based on what you want to do. Anyone here Harry Potter fan? Harry Potter, whoa, okay, nice. So we can actually create something like Harry Potter wall, right? So Harry Potter have a lot of images that's moving. We can try to recreate that using this kind of model. Very exciting, okay? So, right, I cover a lot about the capabilities, right, the models, and there are different types of model, different types of data. And you'll be like, oh, I have an idea. Where do I start, right? Maybe you have not been using GenAI. Maybe you have not been implementing it. You have some idea, where do I start? And the good news is, I think in Hong Kong, you can actually access Gemini through Vertex AI, right? So you can actually go here, which is cloud.google.com, and then this is a AI studio on Vertex that is free form, okay? So this is actually free in the sense that you don't have to log in, you don't have to create any account. You can just go there directly and start asking things to do. It supports multimodal as well, so you can upload your images, you can upload your PDF, and things like that as well. Right? So some limitation, but mostly if you just want to find out whether your ideas works or not, you can go here and try out. Okay. So one thing is that, what if we want to create like a travel planner, right? So our travel planner is supposed to help us with planning itineraries. Who like to travel? And anyone? Yes. Okay, nice. Everyone wants to travel, right? So planning for itineraries, booking flights, accommodations, tracking budget and costs, and also answering specific domain questions, right? So we want our travel planner to do, maybe you are trying to start startups, right? And you have this idea in mind and you want to execute it from happening, okay? So first thing first, what you need to do is to select the model, right? What type of model that you want to choose. There's a lot of GenAI model out there. Here is the list. Like, it's not even exhaustive, right? You have Gemini, Imagen, Gemma, Llama, Anthropic models, and Mensural AI. You also have a platform like Kaggle or Hugging Face, right? So what is good? What do we choose, right? So most of the time, you need to think, okay, first thing first, I need to output itineraries. So I need to have a model that can give me text output. So text output, can I use my own data? Can I use an API? Do I have to host the model myself? So those are the considerations you need to ask yourself before you choose a model, right? So one thing is about model capability. Second thing is about the modality that you actually need the model, right? So, and where do I host it and things like that. So assuming we just choose Gemini for the sake of simplicity, right? So we are able to actually start, creating our travel planner, right? So how we need to do is, by first steps, we have to try prompt engineering. So anyone heard of prompt engineering before? Prompt engineer, right? So there's a lot of jobs coming up. So you need to actually try to write things in a way that is optimized for the model. So this is how we interact. We have the prompt, we pass into the LLM, and then it gives us the response, right? So that's how typical cycle of prompt engineering works. You just keep trying different prompts and see what the response like. You try to format the response by using different type of prompts. So that's how the prompt engineer in a nutshell works. But sometimes the responses has hallucination, right? So you can't always get the output that you want. Sometimes the output is not correct. So we need to figure out a way to actually make the hallucination from not happening. So this is where we have to integrate something called grounding. So grounding is part of optimization. You can actually use something like RAG, which is a retrieval augmented generation. So generation itself, right? Instead of directly passing in the prompt to the model, which is here, you actually pass it into the retriever as well. So this retriever job is to make sure you have all the context you need before you answer the question from the user. So it could be that you are asking the model about, hey, how much balance I have left in my bank account, right? The model won't know it because the model knowledge is frozen in time, right? Maybe you are a millionaire before, now you are like a billionaire. The model wouldn't know, right? So you need to actually extract the data from the bank so that the bank gives you the amount. Then you ask the model, here's my number, and then the model answers in the correct way. So this is where we need to have the extra knowledge that extracted from the retriever. And then all this result has been retrieved. We need to rank them so that you can actually get the correct response. Then you pass it into the element together. Then you get your answer. Okay, so that's how typical RAG works. And that will actually solve my problems of planning my itineraries, right? So I actually can pass in, itineraries that offered by my company in a database. So whenever user asks question about, hey, can I go, where can I go in Hong Kong? And it will give a list that curated by me, not just random lists that, someone write on the internet, okay? But I still have three other things to solve, right? So what can I do to make sure the model is able to book flights or accommodation? So the second thing would be the model doesn't activate anything because the models are just a file, right? So you need to have some other features that enable this kind of booking and accommodation kind of thing, right? So we have to come up with another things called function calling. So function calling gives like a hands and leg to the model when you can actually execute specific types of function for the model to perform. And this is a typical life cycle of function calling looks like, right? So you have something called Gemini. That is an LMM that takes in the prompt, but instead of passing on directly to the retriever like we did in RAG, we actually use the feature called function calling. So these functions are predefined and is chosen by Gemini on the runtime to do what they want to do. Maybe you are asking about your bank balance. It will be from your bank database, right? Maybe you are asking about currency exchange rate for right now. Maybe you're asking about weather condition. That would be like a Rust API to a service that is providing, right? Maybe you are asking about your company's specific proprietary data. Then this is where you have the document repository that you connect to the functions. So this actually gave very powerful features to Gemini to be able to execute things on your behalf, right? Because Gemini itself do not execute anything because it's just a model, right? So after we execute everything, we get back the results, then we respond back to the model, right? So this is where the whole flow of the function calling looks like. I can go on and on about this, but this is typical lifecycle looks like. So with this, you can actually build something called agents. So you probably heard of like AI agents here and there, right? Automation and things like that. All these are happening because of feature-like function calling. Okay, so now we can actually start to book flights, itinerary. We actually can track the budgets and costs because we have access to our database, we have access to our API, we have access to our functions. So our travel planners still need to answer domain-specific questions. Maybe it has to be answered in Cantonese. We need to actually make sure the model is capable to do what we want it to do. So in this case, the prompt engineering cannot help, right? Because you need to have a lot of prompts to be able to give a domain-specific questions, right? You also need to be able to understand it in a native format, right? You can't just create a system around it to help. So this is where we have to think about fine-tuning. So fine-tuning is only necessary if none of the method works from like engineering, RAG, or the function calling features, right? So the fine-tuning is like a last step already. You're trying to improve the model by trying to update the knowledge with more and more data, right? So this is how the typical flow looks like. So you have like text, image, video, you want to train into a foundation model. If you're only using for like the general problems, you can actually just generate it directly. But if you need for specific problems, this you need to do fine-tuning. You need to have a new data set, or you need to have a new kind of like a problem statement, then you fine-tune it to solve a specific problems, right? So with fine-tuning, we can actually solve the last things about answering domain-specific questions, right? So now our app is ready, right? We already did, prompt engineering, already tried integrating RAG, we already tried putting in function calling with functions for it to execute and, plans and track and things like that. We also fine-tune our model so that the model is actually latest up to date and specific to the domain, right? So now we need to think about, okay, we have already done, right? Maybe you can ask your friends to test it, but when you want to make a business, you need to deploy to everyone, right? So this is where you start to think about deployment. This is like a step 3, right? So you need to start thinking, okay, where do I make sure that people can access to the things I just created? Okay, so the deployment steps is actually, there are a few common options on Google Cloud. You can deploy on Cloud Runs, you can deploy on GKE, you can deploy on Vertex AI, right? So it really depends on whether you are already familiar with, like, let's say Vertex AI, you're already using it, or you are more from like a DevOps, right? You want to actually start creating pipeline yourself, like GKE, or maybe you just want to try a few times. You can use Cloud Run, which is a serverless solution. Right, so after you have deployed all these things, what you need to do is that you need to think in terms of the holistic platform view, right? So you don't just want to have one system running. You want to actually, let's say, analyze insight. You actually want to govern it. You actually want to do things like, cloud operations or machine learning operations. You actually want to integrate with the analytics side of things where you have a BigQuery, right? Maybe you want to do a lot more advanced features in the future. Maybe you start hiring data scientists, specialists, and maybe like PhD researcher. So you might actually want to go down to infrastructure level and try to create GPU and TPU and things like that. So this is more from like a holistic point of view. And all these things are actually available on Google Cloud for you to try and use it, right? So, and a lot of people ask about, hey, if I come into the cloud platform, would I lock in terms of like, do I always use Gemini all the time? Do I always use Imagen all the time? Do I have to use TPU all the time? Actually, it's not true, because nowadays, you can actually use any framework that you like. You could PyTorch or TensorFlow or JAX. You can actually use different type of model that's available, not just Gemini, right? Maybe Llama, Anthropic, and so on. For the agent perspective, you could also do things like Llama Index or LangChain, right? So we also have reasoning engine, which you can actually deploy LangChain application as well. So all these things are actually not locked in. You can pick and choose whichever you want and whichever works for you. Okay, so now we have deploy, right? But it's not just one time. You have to do maintenance, right? Meaning your user base might change, your itineraries might change, some place might close down, right? There might be weather condition you need to update and so on. So we need to do iteratively to improve our application, right? So how do we do that? We need to consider a few considerations, like how often will you change the model, right? Maybe there's a new model coming up. Would you change directly? Would you do some other tests, right? How you refresh the data, right? When your data is like a weather focus, maybe you refresh it every day. Maybe if your data is more of like your currency exchange, you might have to refresh it every hour. So you need to think of that, right? If you are fine-tuning the model, how often would you fine-tune it, right? And also, what are the evaluation? How do you know after you change, you fine-tune, is actually helpful for your business and not just, screwing them up, right? And how do we improve the latency? How do we make it secure so that people cannot jailbreak or hack or prompt injections and so on? So if you think about all these consideration, the whole point of making a model is very similar to the software delivery lifecycle, right? You need to design, build, maybe you integrate it, then you perform testing, you deployment, and you monitor whether the models or the system is performing well. And after that, if you think that is not performing well, you have to redesign again, build again, integrate again, test again, and deploy again. So it's a circle. It's not just one way, right? So that's something that we need to take note of. And if you really think about it, the whole piece of machine learning is just like a small piece, right? You need to start thinking about how do I configure? Where do I automate? What kind of data I'm going to collect, right? What kind of serving infrastructure I'm going to get? What kind of monitoring process I need to do? What kind of features I need? What kind of metadata management and so on? This is why machine learning's project or AI projects are hard to push to production, because you need to have all this ecosystem that is supporting the whole small piece of machine learning code there, right? So if you consider all these things, you might actually end up something like this, which is like insane, right? So this is actually one of the reference architecture that one of my teammates had made. And it's actually started small, right? But after some time, you keep thinking about, okay, this is like data flow side of thing, right? Oh, this is like fine-tuning side of thing. This is serving side of thing, right? This is like front-facing side of things, back-end, front-end. This is a monitoring piece, right? This is like a architectural, management and things like that. It's like a whole lot of things you can actually plug and play, chain a little bit here and there. You have different API gateways, right? You can actually put things like model armor. You can actually put things like RPG, which is like gateway for the APIs. There's many, many ways you can think and can create this kind of diagram, right? So this is not the end solution, or this is not the start solution. This is something in middle, right? I'm just sharing with you how it could potentially looks like in a production system, right? So I'm going to close off with quoting it from Andrew Ng. Who know who Andrew Ng is? A few people? Okay, I will tell him that not people know him. So he says that AI is not once and done kind of thing, right? And it's a continuous process, right? You learn, you improve, and then you actually keep it alive in the system, okay? So if you don't know who he is, you can pick it up. Andrew Ng, he's also a founder of Deep Learning AI. He provides a lot of free courses, which is really great. And he's also funding another startups as well. So you can actually take a look. He's a professor from Stanford also. Okay, so this is me ending my presentation. If you want to get connected, you can actually scan this QR code, right? I also have a LinkedIn and an Instagram as well. If you want to contact me on Twitter, you can actually find me here. With that, if you have any question, I will take. If not, then we're going to off the question. Okay. Any questions?
有冇問題？其實好難得有個咁 senior 嘅 engineer 過嚟，有冇企過嚟？係啊。Any question? Maybe they're still digesting what they're digesting what you
need coffee.
Yeah, it's quite new for them, so maybe some of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Talk about different models.
Right.
How do we know what is the time does actually they create certain database to do it? What is the timeline that database was created?
For the models?
Yeah. The model that is already outdated.
Right.
How do you know that? That is
the peak time.
Verify.
Yeah. So, like for example, our Google model, like Gemini, we actually publish when was the last update for different version. So you can find it on, like, let's say, Gemini models on Google Cloud. Let me see. Then it will actually tell you the date, right? And you can also, I'm trying to find that information. Yeah. Let's see.
It's just not presented.
It is. So,
No.
I'm going to present. Yeah. So this is the Google Models page. You can actually find it online. And if you scroll it down, right, there's different models, different model, blah, blah, blah. And if you scroll some more, you actually have this thing called specification, and you see the training date, which is up to May 2024. So you can see from here, like for our model. I'm not sure about the open source model, but you can see it from here. Yeah, so you can kind of think, oh, maybe it's May 2024, so I need, May now is December, right? So May to December, I need to either RAG or maybe I need to do function call. Thank you for the questions. I have some gift that I will give if you ask questions. So yeah, I will. let me get a gift.
Thank you. 佢真係琴晚我瞓咗覺起身，咦？點解佢拼我嘅咧？2點鐘先到。
I have Google Cloud pins. So these are from me. So it's not from the
Hong
yeah,
Kong.
it's not from
Yeah, it's from Singapore.
Yeah, I got it. So any questions?
More questions?
Thank you. Yeah, so it looks like this to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy, you need it?
Yeah.
Ask a question.
You can ask. Anyway, yeah, there's some questions.
If I'm using it will it charge for some like charge me a little bit when I want to just test some code?
So remember here, right? So I actually cover it all the way here. So if you do this one, it's actually free, but there's a limitation, right? You can maybe only query 2 query per minute or 15 query per minute and things like that. But for testing only, you can go here, it's free. More questions? I have a lot more. See, I pre-see. Oh, nice.
Sim.
Yeah.
We have a give.
Yeah. See, I know.
Yeah. One. Okay, go on. I want to ask that. So for the Google service platform, how will be the data center and the current evidence goes? Because that will be some future requirement for some projects.
Yes. So depends on which model you are using, right? And we also have like a checkpoint that is stored in a regional data center. I don't know whether we have one in China yet. We have Hong Kong. We have Hong Kong one. Yeah. So if you're choosing Hong Kong, right? So you can see from. Let me just see whether I'm just going to demo this one. Yeah.
The console you can click.
Correct. So I'm going to do this one.
Data residency and rest is protected with a Hong Kong endpoint. Yeah. This is actually a differentiation that if you choose other model, you have to go to like Japan, Singapore.
Here.
In terms of compliance, do you have any ways to remove some of the data that we send back to school? We have multi-million models.
So I didn't get the question.
I mean, can we have some engine on top of your model?
Yeah. Yeah, you can create agents on top of the model. So yeah. So these models are just APIs, right? So you can see there's a Hong Kong here that you can choose this, and then it will actually stay within the Hong Kong. And you can actually see this thing called get code. I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit. So this get code functions, and you can actually see how to call these APIs, and you can actually do whatever you want on top of this because this is just API. Okay.
Another one?
Yeah.
May I ask, do you personally have any tips on how to fine-tune the model?
How to fine-tune the model? Very good questions. We actually have some videos as well. You can go to YouTube, right? You can find Gemini fine-tuning, and one of the talk that we did was fine-tuning on different types, right? When do you do, let's say, adaptive tuning? When do you do full fine-tuning? When you just do maybe like what's it called, prompt tuning, right? So those are some of the consideration, and it's like a one topic by itself, right? So you can actually find, let's say, Google Cloud fine-tuning, and you can find a lot of information here. Google Cloud Gemini fine-tuning, right? You can actually see there's like a supervised tuning, different type, right? When should you tune text, image, document, audio? Which type is supported, and how do you actually tune it using the code? And how do you tune the hyperparameters? This is how you would do it. And then there are some details that you can do, right? And this is actually prompt tuning using the prompts. So this is like all the information that you need to get started, right? So yeah, if you want to know more, maybe we have one more session, maybe next year, to do the end-to-end. You come again, okay? Yeah.
tomorrow next month have Google Cloud Summit. Will Google Cloud API available in China?
This is a good question.
So we actually have a lot of customers from China. Why we have
At the end.
now we know. So why we have a summit in China is because we actually have a lot of customers in China, right? So you look at it this way, you can still call it if you are within China through a corporate enterprise interconnect, right? So it's kind of like a legal and also all that is legal, right? So it's not like some minor VPN out there. But a lot of customers actually, when they go out to the world, when China go out to the world, Chinese company go to the world, that's where they actually want to partner with Google Cloud scale their cloud infrastructure. So a lot of
Okay, I think I will type it. At the Shenzhen Google Cloud Summit, we have the poster at the outside. When you make the registration over there, you have a special gift over there. You ask the reception.
Yeah. And you can also try using Gemma if you don't want to, let's say, connect, right? You want to host it locally. Gemma is also another option as well. So you can consider that.
And for extra, if you're in China, you can try to use Cargo.
Cargo.
Yeah. Cargo still now is free. Can use in China.
Okay.
Okay. Any question?
No more?
No more?
You can ask me later. Oh, yes. Okay.
Very interested about Gemini function calling.
Right.
So is there a restriction of how many lines of code is able to support?
How many lines of code to what? Calling?
Yeah.
within the function.
Within the function. No. So what happened is the Gemini when function call. This is also another topic by itself, right? It could be like 1 hour. So the function calling doesn't call the function. It will tell you which function to call. So what happened is when you ask the questions to the Gemini, Gemini say, sorry, my data is not up to date. I'm not able to answer accurately. So please call this function and then give me back the response. So that's what. So you decide how long the function is. You decide how to structure the function, and you call yourself. Then you return the result to Gemini. So Gemini do not call it for you. It will tell you to call it. Of course, you can create a pipeline around to auto call and things like that, but it's decided by you. Thank you.
About consulting products, so considering every time you can ask the call related with the other call. So considering every time you burn, like for example, the function like the call is around 100, like we use around 800.
Right.
The description is around like we use around 600 every time to burn. Or is that way you can catch it so that I only will charge me less than 200.
Yeah. So let me show you how it looks like. Okay. I'm going to take maybe 1 minute. So this is how the function call looks like. Okay. It doesn't actually pass in anything to the element because the function callings and getting the response, everything is leave it to you. It's not part of the element, right? So this is a slide that I made it for one of the DevFest. Right, that's why I say it's a one topic by itself. What can last for 1 hour or so. So you have, let's say you ask the questions to Gemini, right? And then Gemini actually say, hey, I do not know. Please call these functions, call get product price, and then put the product names value at Pixel 8 Pro. So this is the output, and that's only the things that you get charged, right? Anything after that, we don't charge because you're not doing anything with the element, right? So from here, you take it, right? And then you call the function yourself, then you return, right? So the return will be JSON format. So you have the JSON format return, then you pass it to Gemini. So you will get charged for the response that you pass in, and then Gemini will output this. So you will get charged for this small piece and this small piece, and also this and this. There's whatever you return from the APIs, the amount of code, we don't get charged. Only if you are touching the Gemini, and these are very small subset, we charge it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Already.
Do we have more type of questions or?
I think the time is up because another chat already start their presentation already.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much.
If you have a question, you can ask Thu Ya later. He will just present another session in
Yes.
later today. Okay. Yeah. And then the next, I welcome to Michael to share.
You can join. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. OK。Michael 就會講 first call 咁另外後邊咧就6號房就會講 chat 嘅嘢，係啦。咁我哋開始會分段㗎啦，開始係。咁買多又唔係同佢倒米，但係咧 chat 都值得聽嘅，我只係話俾你聽。因為 chat 係點咧？係我估計 chat 嗰個連 NT 可能都唔會知道，我哋係第一批人攞到 topic 可以做 accept， 即係可以申請嘅人。係啊，係一個check API 嘅嘢。咁如果有興趣可以聽嗰啲，因為但係嗰度好 early stage 啊，而家都係俾你 request join for testing 咁樣嘅啫。係啦，但係就將來會再多啲嘢。係啊，我唔知佢將來會即係錄邊度。係啊，睇佢自己咯。係。就咁 check。可以啊！好啊，多謝 Michael， 得唔得？係啦 ，OK。聲頭先啊，聲唔緊要，因為頭先咧阿 Sam 幫咗手咧，係一定得。Sam 明顯頭先講，頭先反而頭嗰幾分鐘唔得。係啊，而家個 setting OK 嘅，係啊，唔係係 unmute 咗自己部機，但係就冇 unmute 呢部機。OK， 係啦。Let's try. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for joining for next session. So Thu Ya already went through the end-to-end way to develop an AI application. So this session, I will just talk a little bit about, okay, it's end 2024. What you guys should learn a little bit on 2025. Okay, so my name is Michael Leung. 40 years of experience in IT. So probably some of you, when I start my first little program with a punch card, you're not born. Yeah, you're not born yet. Too old. I'm too old. But my last 25 or 20-something years, I'm working as a CIO and CTU in different industries. So my job right now in Google Cloud basically is like an evangelist and playing a role of a strategic advisor to help clients to transform and innovate with AI, data analytics, Web3, and Google Cloud. So first try of this, whether see whether it works. I mean the audio. About the audio about Google's AI.
This is the point to break through essentially is the power type and
Still is not connected to the main speaker, so I try this.
for shaping the future of health. This is only we are seeing. Making sure the growth is inclusive and sustainable. We have the chance to dispense from reality. The stakes are too high not to get right. It's a revolution that will change everything. We're not scratching the surface yet. Well, it's possible. And there's still so much more to do.
Let me try to fix that audio. Sorry, let me check the audio and see whether I can fix it. No, it's not connected to the HDMI. So anyway, no problem. So AI requires scientists or engineers like all of us. And I think what's important is understanding the use of AI. And of course, AI have long history. And for those of us that tried the expert system back in 1980s and 90s, but now we have generative AI on the right-hand side. So that's why we have chatbot and many applications, just like Thu Ya explained, hey, how I use AI to plan our travel itinerary. So that's one of the usage. But then again, have anyone asked you when to use traditional AI and when to use generative AI? In the last 2 years, like most of the shiny technologies, is overhyped.
Just use Gen AI.
Just use Gen AI, just use Gen AI, everything Gen AI. When you have a Gen AI hammer, everything looks like a Gen AI nails. So let me explain a little bit easier for you, such that you can explain to the customers or your internal clients. Imagine your left brain controlling your right hands. It's pretty much rule-based, logicals, and those AI, traditional AI, can generate an output quite precise. On the other hand, some creative artists, they use their left hand a lot, they use their right brain. And because right brain, most of the time is more creative. So those are the generative AI. So imagine you and me can use our left brain and right brain together. And this is what we should do, a powerful duo of our left brain that control the logical side, that we make decisions, and sometimes the right brain control the left hand, creative side. So when you explain to your customers or your internal users, are those creative content required? Then generative AI. If not, traditional AI do a really, really good job. Our customers, like banks, like insurance companies, they use the traditional AI very well. But then, of course, in the last 10 years or so, like Wong mentioned earlier, AlphaGo. And of course, a couple of years ago, we have the AlphaFold. And just last month, we open source our AlphaFold as well, such that everybody can use it. And that's why we receive the Nobel Prize of 2024 as well. And then 1 year ago, this year or this month, we have the Gemini. So how good is Gemini? Let me show you this. That is from lmarena.ai. Gemini ranked #1 over ChatGPT 4.0, over O1, over Grok, and over Claude 3.5. And this is Gemini 12.06, yesterday's version. So try use it. I mean, it's really good. And now, traditional AI, I just mentioned a little bit on that. As you can see on screen from left to right, whether you're using retail, whether you're in healthcare industry, financial services, or even public sectors, all these use cases are AI, and all these use cases are using traditional AI. And at the bottom, most of the companies already using AI for their contact center. They use document AI, text to speech, speech to text, and content generation as well. Of course, today we talk about a lot more about generative AI. And for some reason, people use generative AI to create content or emails or images. But in fact, generative AI is really good on the left-hand side, make complex data accessible, generating summaries, recommendations, and then based on those, we can help the customers or our internal staff in website navigations or customer services. And then on the right-hand side, creative assistance. Anyone of you use Gen AI to create email, your own email? Right. Okay. Reports? I teach blockchain in another local universities, and I allow my class of students use generative AI to finish their final report. And our 40-something final report, of course, 30-something look pretty much the same. Not because they copy with each other, but because they use similar prompt, similar keyword, and similar references cases. So imagine if you are a paying customer, you're paying one company to service you, but somehow that company, their customer services manager, their sales manager, their engineer, all send you similar email. As a paying customer, what do you think? Are you feeling happy with that? So remember, using generative AI for productivity gain have a feel-good factor. I feel good. I just wrote a perfect English email. But imagine the recipient. They know that you are using AI, right? Unlike Thu Ya, English is not my native language, so my email, my report will look bad without AI nowadays. But nowadays, using AI, my email looks perfectly okay. But feel good. But imagine that the other side, the recipient side, whether they accept this, think about it. But of course, generative AI can be used in different ways, like our latest model, Genie 2. I'm not sure you tried that, Genie 1. But if you're a gamer like Thu Ya, you probably like this a lot because just using prompt, you can generate a video. And this video have no audio, so that should be fine. Just enter in prompt, like, come on, baby. Okay, yeah. Generate a playable world on a spaceship. And this is generated by Genie 2. And then I can enter another prompt, like generate a playable world as a robot in a city. Is generated by the Genie 2. And it will generate a world map almost instantly with Genie 2 and the prompt. And then you can play around in this 3D world. But then what about image to video? Thu Ya just mentioned this as well. Using Imagen-3 and Real. Some guys using image and then generate an advertisement. When you use prompt to generate something, creative content, whether it's image or video or text, one thing you should observe is how closely your AI platform will follow the prompt and will not change the content of whatever you provided and then generate the output. And that's why people can use it even as an advertising. Thu Ya just mentioned about the travel planner. Anyone use Agoda before? Just like Expedia or Bookings.com. And Agoda just use our AI and text to image to generate image and then image to video to generate this advertising.
Feeling overwhelmed? Burned out? Agoda to the rescue. Escape the everyday and rediscover the joy of travel. Find incredible hotel deals, flights, and activities with Agoda. See the world for less. Book now.
Yep, everything is you saw just now is AI. So you have access to the technologies. In your mind, you have a lot of possible use case, but the key is how to make sure the generative AI can drive business value on top of personal productivity gain, business value. So the way I look at it is you can kind of categorize the use cases in three things, where the generative AI can help you to deliver, to make yourself an efficiency leader or cost leader, or whether you can use generative AI to create new product or new services. And lastly, whether you can provide better customer services to your client, to your customers. And if your generative AI use cases fall into that three categories, then maybe that's a case you should spend time and pursue. But of course, you need to pick a service providers, pick an infrastructure that is flexible, powerful, and find the AI models, the best fit for your purposes, like the step one in a 2 years case, and also holistic approach to recap the benefit of AI. And what we meant by holistic approach is this, as you can see, AI and MLs is only part of the infrastructure. And the agent builder, model gather is only part of AI. And around that, you still need databases, data analytics, governance, and infrastructure. That in our case with GPUs and GPUs from NVIDIA. So a quick question to you all. Just need your help to raise your hand. Imagine all of us in this room can access to AI tools. And imagine all the people outside that room also can access the tool. Is AI to you an equalizer or differentiator? Raise your hand if you think AI is a differentiator. If you can access AI tools and your competitors, your colleagues, your team members can also access AI tools, are those differentiator? No one raise your hand. And then AI is only an equalizer. Raise your hand. Okay. Yeah. Really smart Google users. Exactly. If everyone can access to AI tools, is a differentiator only if you're better than them and you are used earlier than them, right? Otherwise, you need to use AI and data and also your expertise in your product and workflow. And then you will build your own mode or differentiator. Remember, just by AI tools itself, as one question earlier, the data may be pre-trained back to April 2024. So how to use the best, most up-to-date data, how to use your expertise in your product and workflow, make you the one that can differentiate with any others. So talk about the future. I'm not sure you are ice hockey fans, but Wayne Gretzky, one of my idols when I'm a teenager, skating to where the puck is going to be, not where it's been. So in the world of AI, we shouldn't go to where the AI is, but we should go to where the AI is going. And I'm not sure about you, but in the last 1-2 months or 2-3 months, a lot of companies already talk about AI agents. So we're going to talk a little bit about AI agent, agentic AI. So there's a definition of generative AI agent. And I highlighted some words like application, goal, or tools. But that's one interesting word, observing. So I will explain a little bit about why you need observing in the world of AI. And most of people talk about agent, but in fact, they are talking about conversational agent. That is for chatbot, for chit chat, for Q&A. user queries. But another one, more importantly, is workflow agent. That is, you just tell the agent, I want to spend 3 days in Thailand. And then the agent should call Thu Ya's program to do whatever is needed, like book a hotel, book a flight tickets, and then connect to the friends, and then even block the time in my calendar. So there are many types of agents for customers, employee, for your marketing teams, and you can also have a data agents internally and code agent for code assist, and lastly, security agents. I'm not sure whether you try the agents internally to find out all the problems in your infrastructure or in your code. But using traditional AI, sometimes it's easier because the inputs are very precise and the outputs are very precise. But for Gen AI, the input sometimes is very fuzzy because it's a prompt. And you go for a black box, and then the output is very fuzzy. So agents in AI world is not only about the model, but also about orchestration, about the tools. The tools is just like what Thu Ya mentioned, the extension, the function call, the data store. All these are important in your AI agents. Typically, the AI agent receives a user query from you or from the customer, and then the agent will respond. But the agent inside the green box, the orchestration, sometimes it will also do the observation, like I want to book a flight. Then the AI platform will think about it. I need to have some flight tools, and then I need to take some actions. And then the observation is the flight will return many, many different options. Then I need to find within the cost budget, within the few days that I want to take vacation, the agent should be smart enough to book the right ticket. And then there are many ways to develop your agent as well, sequentially. Ask the agent 1 to do something, and then agent 2 and then agent 3, or hierarchically. Agent 1 to be the orchestrator, to ask agent 2 and 3 do things at the same time, or hybrid, hierarchical and sequential, or something even in parallel. And lastly, even in an asynchronous mode. So agent 1 and 2 do something, and then agent 3 do things 2 hours later or next day later. So when you do agents development, think about how you orchestrate different agents to do different things. I tried to use, you probably heard about some company use AI to screen CV to find the right people. So I exploring a agent user scenario that I have an agent A to scan the job description, and then agent B to write the CV, agent C to write the covering letter, and the agent D to prepare a 10 interview questions, such that I can apply for this specific role. So agent builder, something I will not go through in detail, but if you are in a Vertex AI, check out all this detail that agent builder can help you. Even the low code or full code, the agent builder can help you to orchestrate, to do grounding, to take action, and all sorts of different ways to do it. So key takeaways. Just like Thu Ya, the last few slides, it's not only about AI, ML, and of course, it's not only about large language model. You need to think about tuning, grounding, prompting. You need to think about the routing, the history, API integration, the data store integration, and a lot of things. So don't get fooled by the hype that you can roll out AI agent easily. You all are professional AI engineer. Think about how you see the full pictures to develop a good AI and good AI agents. The value you get is not in the models, it's in the system. And in the market right now, the best hyperscaler that can provide the whole systems from the infrastructure to the tools, there's only one, Google. Okay. and you are in the right camp. And I think it's running out of time, so I won't show you that video that's a use prompt to generate a song. No time, right? I think.
No. Maybe
Yeah,
share later.
maybe share later. Yeah. So thank you all, and let us know how can we help you today and tomorrow to build the AI agents. Thank you.
Sorry, I missed something. Thu Ya also come here also because I missed to present our speaker souvenir. Yeah. And
Size fit.
啱啦，3啦，3啦，yeah.
Thu Ya, sir.
Yeah, Thu Ya also. Yeah. Number there. Yeah. 3. Yeah.
Can you stand a little bit closer to each other? Thank you. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. I'll give you 1 sec. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. OK， 咁咧下一場啦，咁下一場。得啦，唔緊要。係啦，我哋下一場有係咪 Amanda 會介紹啊？幫手係啦。
Hello，下一場咧，我哋有請關博士係啦，咁咧就介紹呢個 human library 嘅 project 係啦，咁啲好有趣嘅 project，咁嚟講。
唔該晒 Amanda。咁咧就我介紹自己咧，我係一個sales 嚟嘅。sell 啲乜嘢咧？我哋係近年咧 sell 一個concept， 一個 practice 叫做 DEI and work。咁DEI 即係 diversity、equity and inclusion。咁我哋鼓勵企業啦，鼓勵用人單位啦去多去諗一啲聘用一啲多元人才啊。咁我有10分鐘到時間去同大家介紹，陣間下晝有個智能圖書館。10分鐘嚟講咧，對我嚟講都好珍惜，因為咧我以往試過想 sell 呢個 idea 去啲商會咧佢俾10分鐘我，咁但係同我講話因為你未入會，唔該俾100蚊咁樣，要俾100蚊介紹咁樣，咁同埋嗰啲朋友可能都好匆忙啦，未必聽得好好。咁今日下晝會多啲時間聽嘅。咁咧DEI 係乜嘢嚟嘅咧？咁樣我哋係支援鼓勵大家咧去考慮。去認識聘用殘疾人士，咁當然啦 ，DEI 唔係限於殘疾人士嘅，不過我哋先講殘疾人士啦咁樣。咁以往好多時咧，我哋有個諗法，一諗起殘疾人士咧，就諗起我都支持你，都幫助你、同情你咁樣。不過就唔該，可能你應該喺庇護工場啦，啲 shelter worker 啦咁樣，或者諗下你最多咪係嗰啲叫做 social enterprise 係嘛？社企咁樣就冇諗過會嚟咧，我哋嗰個叫做我哋數一啲 business enterprise mainstream enterprise 咁樣，咁就諗起佢同我哋唔同嘅。咁但係其實今時今日咧有所謂有殘疾啦，或者另一個講法叫做 SEN 嘅朋友咧，其實好多嘅喺大學裏邊咧，其實都好多嘅，有好多殘疾朋友有機會接受培訓、大專教育，包埋碩士、博士都有嘅。咁不過仍然咧，我哋做好多工作啦呢個我哋嘅工作叫做supply side 即係喺個供應方面，因為供應人才嘛，去令佢提升佢個 employability 個 readiness 嗰個 job skills。咁但係唔夠喎，我哋主張咧，除咗係supply side 之外咧 ，demand side 都要做啲功夫嘅。demand side 嘅意思係乜嘢咧 ？demand side 嘅意思就係話啲用人單位、僱主、企業。當然包括埋政府啦，佢哋嘅朋友、僱主、同事對於殘疾朋友咧有認識嘅。有時就係有啲公司係因為想響應追求支持呢個 ESG 啦，嗰個 development， 咁所以咧都會啲老闆都 OK 嘅，好可以支持嘅，因為而家 ESG report 啦每年都要交，如果能夠有啲成績交出嚟咧，咁都係好咁，同埋大家都睇到呢個全球嗰個 trend 啦。不過有時就係啲同事唔 ready 即係你老闆就話 OK，但係我哋啲下邊同事唔 ready。畢竟咧，大家對於殘疾咧個認識係不足嘅，咁所以我哋咧就鼓勵大家去認識啦嚇。咁下晝嗰個真人圖書館咧都係咁嘅目的。咁大家好多係從事即係IT 啊嘅朋友啦，可能有啲朋友就一諗起咧都會有個諗法㗎。哎呀，我哋唔係開嗰啲包裝喎，我哋唔係做餐廳喎冇乜工作啱佢哋做喎。咁我哋要突破想像嘅，即係咧嗱，有好多殘疾朋友咧應該係絕大部分殘疾朋友咧，佢哋都冇一個自力嘅問題嘅。譬如佢需要坐輪椅啫。坐輪椅咁樣，咁只要咧嗰個 workplace 咧能夠 provide 到嗰個嘅accommodation 啦，包括嗰個台咧可以調校升高啦，嗰個走廊係夠闊啦，佢搞個輪椅入到去啦，又或者能夠提供到一個叫做彈性嘅工作環境或者工作上班安排 work from home 等等，咁其實好多行動不便嘅朋友咧都翻到工嘅。咁另外有一啲工作咧就係調翻轉喎。啱某類嘅殘疾朋友或者 SEN 嘅話，咁有一啲，我唔係呢方面嘅專家啦，你哋一定好熟啦嚇，你糾正我喎，即係話有啲有啲嘅 Apps 咧出咗嚟嘅時候咧，要試下嚇，即係去試下去，咁有一啲朋友咧專係做呢啲，即係去測試嗰個軟件嘅，咁你工作重複好悶嘅，咁有一般朋友咧就可能覺得喂，即係呢個工作太悶啦，但係有一種朋友啦有一類朋友咧唔知你有認識幾多就 ASD 啦即係自閉症光譜譜系嘅朋友，咁相對嚟講咧，佢就對於一啲重複性嘅工作咧OK 嘅喎。即係佢覺得，咦，佢又樂在其中喎。其他朋友有啲覺得，即係試咗10次都已經頂唔順啦。咁但係對佢嚟講咧，佢又覺得，咦，樂在其中喎咁樣。當然我唔係要即係標籤晒所有都係啦，係咪？即係唔係個個自閉症嘅都中意地鐵巴士㗎嚇？即係意思就係，即係較為有一個常見咗咁樣傾向。咁嘅時候，咦，我哋可以諗嘅就係突破嗰個思考咧，就係我哋今日講 DEI 咧，就突破思考就係話，以往。我哋咧就係要人去 fit 嗰份工嘅，係咪？即係我哋已經有嗰啲即係工作機會啦。咁然後睇下嗰啲朋友，喂，你有冇咁嘅資格啊？你個溝通能力點啊？學歷點啊？咁樣你啱唔啱呢份工啊？你要你 fit 呢份工嘅。咁我都理解呢個咁嘅 logic 嘅。咁但係有個新嘅諗法就係，我哋可以再 redesign 份工啊嘛。睇睇嗰班朋友叻啲乜，叻啲飯。然後咧就住佢嗰個嘅能力，我哋可以稍為去 modify 個工作咧，以至啲朋友又有發揮。咁我哋下晝嗰場咧就有真人圖書館。咁大家唔知參加過真人圖書館未？咁就真人圖書館咧就我哋而家好少睇書㗎啦，因為可能少睇實體書啦，係咪？咁一間係本實體書嚟嘅，不過唔掂得㗎，同埋唔帶得翻屋企嘅，個真人嚟嘅嚇。佢就係佢自己就係一個圖書啦。咁我哋有2位朋友咧，一位自薦啦就係做一間美國大型嘅電話又或者嘅電訊科技公司。咁另外有一位朋友啦就 Daniel，咁佢就子善就係本身係失明嘅，咁佢可能會同埋佢嗰個可愛嘅導盲犬一齊嚟嘅嚇，子善。咁另外 Daniel 咧就係輪椅朋友嚟嘅，咁輪椅朋友佢就好精靈嘅，佢間輪椅好特別添㗎，係佢自己再加建咗個設備咧，令佢由一個普通嘅輪椅咧可以變咗電動輪椅嘅。咁陣間咧，我估佢9成9都會帶埋佢嗰部戰車啦嚟嘅。咁大家可以同佢傾偈啊，子善同 Daniel。咁真人圖書館係咩咧？你可以咧我哋咧就係讀者啦，佢咧就係一個叫圖書。咁我哋人少少咁啦嚇，我哋就同佢傾偈，可以問問題嘅。佢可以即係 feel free 咁樣答，或者唔答。即係如果你問得太 personal 嗰啲，可能佢覺得唔想答都得嘅。咁但係就真事，因為有時咧政府賣廣告嗰啲咧係咪啊？請聘用殘疾人士嗰啲，你係揾鬼瞓咧係咪？咁但係如果咧你聽過佢哋嘅故事咧就好重要。其實我哋冇 hard sell 啦嚇，都唔需要 hard sell 嘅。我並不追求話大家要承諾要聘用或者支持啲乜嘢咁樣。我淨係即係 sell 一樣嘢啫，大家咧就係喺爭取機會咧去認識嗰啲嘅殘疾朋友啦，即係至少我哋都有機會同佢傾下偈。 有時我哋有啲諗法就係、佢哋都係唔得㗎啦，佢哋都係點㗎啦，好恐怖嘅，傳染嘅會，或者會甚至我哋哇呢啲會斬人㗎，又話呢啲會呃綜援啦，或者我好多啲咁嘅諗法咧，我係聽埋嘅啫。咁我哋咧就與其聽埋，咁不如咧我哋就試一試同佢哋有機會見下面。咁我哋今日好啦，安排咗有2位朋友，咁下晝啦嚇，我冇記4點半嘅時間嚇，咁就大家係可以喺應間嘅環節去同我哋分享交流係嘛？咁多謝大家支持，唔該晒。
我哋多謝。等我補充多少少啊嚇。我唔知幾多人會知道咧，其實Google Cloud 反而 Google Cloud 上面咧係有一個connection 或者一個 award 咧係做 DEI 嘅 sector 㗎嚇。咁其實我會覺得 Google Cloud 一個相對嚟講已經係比較 ESG 嘅一間公司啦，已經係啦，因為起碼有咁嘅 award 有啲咁嘅嘢出咗嚟，咁會 encourage 多啲人去做啲咁嘅嘢，好冇？咁啊，其實今日咁到而家就 opening chat 呢度就完㗎啦，咁大家可以繼續去翻 main chat 嗰度繼續聽其他嗰啲 section 得唔得？因為呢度我哋要還房啊，咁今年CityU 個房太緊張啦，我哋好多房嘅環節都係一橛橛，因為佢都要俾咗啲學生先，係啦，咁希望出年大樓起好咗之後咧就會好翻少少，係啦，咁再 plan 得好少少，今年就會即係可能有啲叫斬件式咁樣嘅房出咗嚟，係啊，但係如果冇咁嘅情況，我又做咁多禮物俾你哋啊嘛，咁所以我哋都會接受，好冇？好啦，咁我哋呢度完啦，咁大家可以過翻隔離嗰度再繼續，好冇？OK，thank you 晒。